really love Him?
Amen.
Amen. A long, long time ago and far, far away, in a very, very distant land, there lived a king called King Humperdink. Now, King Humperdink was the head egg in all the kingdom of Eggland. He started out being a pretty good king. He had counselors that taught him the right way. He listened to the voice of God, and he done many great things. But after a while, pride and arrogance took over, and he decided he didn't need the counselors anymore, so he fired them. He also decided he didn't need to hear the voice of God anymore, so he quit listening. And he became a very evil king. Fact is, he just became a very rotten egg all the way around. One day, King Humperdink climbed up on the wall of the castle, and he began to look over all his realm, and he thought how wonderful a job he had done. He had accomplished so many things. Look what I've done. Look what I've accomplished. All of a sudden, out of heaven, a voice spoke. And it says, you've been weighed in a balance and found wanting. Well, this startled King Humperdink, and he fell off the wall. And when it hit the ground, that poor old egg, it broke into 1,000,000 pieces of eggshell, and poor old rotten yolk lay all over the ground. And all the people come by to see what had happened to the great King Humperdink. And the nursery rhyme says that all the king's people and all the king's horses couldn't put him back together again. You see, in life, sometimes we wait too long. Sometimes we won't listen to the voice of God, and we think we know what's right, and we will find ourselves weighed in the balances and found wanting. In other words, we're not measuring up to what God expects us to be. Now we're going to go to the book of Daniel here. It's the 5th chapter. And I'm going to give you a little bit of background information before we get there. The children of Israel have rebelled against God. They've turned their back on God and they're worshiping false gods. They're worshiping Molech and they're worshiping Baal. And God has said, enough is enough. So He sent the Babylonian army in to capture the children of Israel and take them away captive because they had rebelled against God. And the king of Babylon was Nebuchadnezzar. And Nebuchadnezzar was a great, powerful king. He controlled whether you lived or whether you died. Now, when the children of Israel were taken into captivity, there was all kinds of the best in the land were taken in. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and Daniel were raised up into a high position in the land of Babylon. You know, Nebuchadnezzar, he was in control. He was supreme. And he set up a statue and everybody was supposed to worship it. But Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego wouldn't worship it. They were cast into a furnace of fire. And it says one like the Son of Man went into the fire with them and they were delivered. Nebuchadnezzar's eyes saw this. It was revealed to him. He saw the greatness of God. But he rebelled and rebelled just like Humperdink against God. And one day he found himself like an animal out in the fields eating grass. Claws, feathers growed on him. And he stayed there until God allowed him to come back to his senses. I believe it was 7 years. He was out in the wilderness with the rain Whatever weather came, it came. Now, during all this time, his grandson, Belshazzar, seen this. He knew the power of God. He seen what had happened to his grandfather because he didn't obey God. But Belshazzar will not honor God. And this is where we're going to start. A little bit more reading than I normally do. This is Daniel speaking. What's happened right here, right before this? Belshazzar's got a great party going on. There's everybody in there. They're all drunk. There's men, women, and they're drunk. And he says, go get the goblets and the serving vessels from the house of the Lord, and we will drink wine out of them. It was really a sacrilege. And while they were drinking the wine, the hand of God come and begin to write on the wall. And this is where we're going to start reading at. Your Majesty, this is Daniel speaking, I will read the writing and tell you what it means. But you may keep your gifts or give them to someone else. Sir, the Most High God made your father a great and powerful man and brought him much honor and glory. God did such great things for him that the people of all nations and races shook with fear. Your father had the power of life and death over everyone. And he could honor or ruin anyone he chose. But when he became proud and stubborn, his glorious kingdom was taken from him. His mind became like that of an animal. He was forced to stay away from people and live with wild donkeys. Your father ate grass like an ox, and he slept outside where his body was soaked with dew. He was forced to do this until he learned that the Most High God rules all kingdoms on earth and chooses their kings. King Belshazzar, you knew all of this, but you still refused to honor the Lord who rules from heaven. Instead, you turned against him and ordered the cups from the temple to be brought here, so that you and your wives and officials could drink wine from them. You praised idols made of silver, gold, bronze, iron, wood, and stone, even though they cannot see or hear or think. You refuse to worship the God who gives you bread and controls everything you do. That's why he sent the hand to write this message on the wall. The words written here are Mene, which means numbered, Tekel, which means weighed, and Parson, which means divided. God has numbered the days of your kingdom and brought them to an end. He's weighed you on his balance scales, and you fall short of what it takes to be a king. So God has divided your kingdom between the Medes and the Persians. King Belshazzar was weighed in the balance and found wanting. That very night, before that night passed, the Medes and the Persians come in and destroyed him. He was killed. See, it's an awful thing to fall in the hands of a just God. Amen. Especially if you fall in unprepared. And it's easy to get to that point of where you're unprepared. You can keep ignoring God, and ignoring God. He's calling and He's calling and He's calling to you. But you say, I don't want to hear it. One day you will be weighed in the balances and found wanting. Now, in the book of Kings, there's a story of a king there. His name's Ahab. Ahab was the most evil king that ever ruled. Had he had a wife that was more evil than him, her name was Jezebel. And Ahab had an ability, Willie, that he would bump up against sin as far as he could get to, and he knew God's wrath was getting ready to fall, and he'd go and repent. And it would delay God's wrath. Well, the next time he'd get out there, Rick, and he'd sin and sin and sin. He'd say, about time, I better go repent. And he'd be spared. But there was a man that had a vineyard, had a home next door to where Ahab lived. And Ahab wanted that piece of property. And his wife, Jezebel, had the owner killed. And that's when God said, enough is enough. You're weighed in the balance and you're found wanting. Shortly thereafter, Ahab went out to battle. And he thought, I'm not going to go like the king, they'll kill me. So he dressed as a common soldier, put on all the armor he could, and some archer from the enemy army just happened on a lark to pull the bow back and let the arrow go. It found the crease in the armor. You can't get away from the wrath of God when it's time. No. When you're weighed in the balances and found wanting, you're going to stand before God unprepared. Things are not going to be right for you. It's a fearful, fearful, fearful thing to fall into the hands of a just God. Especially if you've been weighed in the balances and found wanting. Amen. The first king that Israel ever had, the very first king, I think started out like Humperdink as a good man. I believe he did. King Saul. King Saul was head and shoulders above everybody else. He was a tall guy. He was a good-looking guy. And like I said, I thought he's a pretty good guy. He didn't want to be king. Well, see, the people of Israel got tired of being ruled by priests and godly people. They wanted a king, so the Lord appointed Saul to be king. On the day that he was elected king, he was hiding. He did not want the job. But when he got used to that power and that authority, he began to abuse it. They were going out into the battle, and Samuel said, I will be there and pray for you before you go into battle. But Saul wouldn't wait on the man of God to come to pray. He went ahead and prayed himself. This angered God. But God still had mercy on him. Still had mercy on King Saul. The Amalekites were a group of people that were totally evil. And they had persecuted the Israelites all these years. And God said, King Saul, go kill everything that breathes in the city of the Amalekites. I want every animal, every child, every woman, and every man annihilated. Saul said, I'm going to do it, God. So he goes off, and they attack the city. They kill a bunch of them. But the people wanted to take the animals back and save them for themselves. They also wanted to spare the king. God said, destroy everything. But because Saul decided he would listen to the people, and they brought the animals back and the king back. Samuel, the man of God, comes, and Saul runs out to him. I done what God wanted. Samuel says, what's the bleating of the sheep that I hear then? And what's this man doing here, this king? So you have disobeyed God, and because you have disobeyed God, you are weighed in the balance, you are found wanting, the kingdom will be ripped out of your hands. There'll be a neighbor that becomes king that will do what I say. From that minute on, in Saul's life, the Spirit of God left him. But he was bombarded by evil spirits. And every time that he would get an evil spirit, the only thing that could calm him down is if somebody would play music. So David comes into the picture, and every time Saul gets all crazy, David plays and Saul calms down. Everything goes good. Saul likes David. Until that day that the giant came. And that changed everything. The day that the giant came, Saul and the Israelite army were filled with fear. He was over 9 feet tall. He was a huge man. David said, I will go fight the giant. And he goes and he kills the giant. Y'all know the story. Saul makes him leader of the army. Everything's still going good. David wins great victories. But when he's coming back from his victory, David's coming back into the town. And the women begin to sing. Saul has killed his thousands. But David hits tens of thousands. Jealousy consumes him. And from that moment on, Rick, he tries his best to kill David. He chases him all over the place. But remember, he's weighed in the balances and found wanting. We see him on a mountaintop, wounded in the battle. He's wounded so bad he can't hardly move anymore, will he? He takes his own sword and falls up on it and commits suicide. It's a terrible thing to fall into the hands of the just God. When you're weighed in the balances and found wanting, the price will be paid. There's another man I want to talk about. Simon Peter. Simon Peter, in some people's opinion, was the leader of all the apostles, the leader of all the disciples. He was the one that the Lord said, upon this rock I will build my church. He was the one that got out of the boat and walked some of the way on the water. He was dialed into what the Lord said. He listened to Him. He was in relationship with the Lord. But one day, the army came and captured Jesus and took him to trial. And as he's on trial, Peter's there around a campfire. And they say, didn't I see you with him? Didn't I see you with Jesus? He said, you got the wrong guy. It wasn't me. Surely not me. Then another one said, well, your very speech betrays you. You're a Galilean. He said, he cussed. He said, I don't know the man. And I believe they asked him one more time. And he said, I don't know the man. Turned around and there Jesus was staring at him. Can you imagine the pain that Peter went through right then? Can you imagine the anguish? In Peter's opinion, his ministry was gone. His life was gone. He felt that he was weighed in the balances and found wanting. But Peter had something going for him. He was in relationship with Jesus. He repented of his sins. The Bible says that he wept bitterly. And the next time we see Peter is Jesus is beside a campfire. And Peter runs up to him. And he asks him, Peter, do you love me? Feed my lambs. Peter, do you love me? Oh, that would rip my heart out, Willie. Feed my sheep. Peter, do you really, really, really love me more than all these? Feed my sheep. Peter was restored because he had a relationship with God. Yes, we come in here today. I think I know everybody's condition in this building. But to be honest with you, only you and God really knows. So if you come in here today, lost, never had a relationship with God, there'll be a time in your life, if you don't change that you'll be weighed in the balances and you'll be found wanting. And you'll stand before God and He will say, depart from me, I never knew you. Or maybe you're here this morning like Peter was when he denied the Lord. Maybe you are a Christian. But maybe you're just not where you need to be. He's standing right here this morning with open arms, wanting to welcome you back home. That's what he wants to do today. You have a choice. But please, please don't put it off. Today's the day to move to God. Not tomorrow. Not 15 minutes from now. He's here right now. Dr. and Brian Wood. They're going to sing a song. It's an old song, real old song. If you feel you have a need, maybe you're lost and you need to get saved. Maybe you just got yourself all messed up with God and you need things fixed. Maybe you need healing this morning. Maybe you've got friends that you need to pray for. The altar is opened.
If I carry the gospel to the lost near and far, I won't stand empty-handed at God's judgment bar. But I dare not relax until I've done all He asks, lest I should leave behind an unfinished task. For you have run the race, and you have kept the faith. These words I long to hear my Savior say. So in my life on earth is past, there's just one thing, dear Lord, I ask. Don't let me leave behind an unfinished task. And if I have wronged my brother, if I have cheated a friend, give me courage, blessed Lord, to make amends. And when I come to change my world and reach glory at last, don't let me leave behind an unfinished task. And when I come to the crossing, I'll be leaving behind all my earthly possessions, but this I don't mind. It will make my heart glad when I leave all I've had. If I don't leave behind an unfinished task. For you have run the race, and you have kept the faith. These words I long to hear my Savior say. So in my life on earth is past, there's just one thing, dear Lord, I ask. Don't let me leave behind an unfinished task.
Amen. Do you feel like there might be something in your life that you've not accomplished that you need to accomplish? Maybe there was somebody you needed to witness to that you didn't witness to. Maybe somebody you just needed to go talk to. Maybe you're holding a whole lot of just old unforgiveness in your heart.